pledge to the flag. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Vaughn, Mrs. Johnson is in Israel. Mr. Hill has got Motlow assignment, and Ms. Usselton is in Nashville. But we have a quorum, and I have been advised by council that 3-1 vote would carry very limited topics that it would require more votes, but none of those are on the agenda tonight, and I trust that he will guide me if we got that off the rails. All right, the agenda. I need to get a motion to approve the agenda as presented. It's okay.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fogarty. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Robinson. If you're in favor, any other more discussion? If not, motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Is there any member here to address the board on an agenda item or a non-agenda item? All right. Consent agenda has the minutes and surplus. Either of those need to be pulled off before we ask for a motion on the consent agenda. Not entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lawson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Fogarty. Any further discussion? If not, if you're for the consent agenda, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Unfinished business, building and grounds. I'm not going to have a report tonight because we've got mowing bids to come forth. We've got plenty on tap. Can you, Ms. Vaughn, check with Mr. Hill tomorrow? Is Friday be all right with you?
Friday's great.
Okay. It's at 7 o'clock. We'll have plenty of business there to consider.
So we need to, we're tabling, because this is mowing bids right here.
We are coming back to that.
Okay.
Well, that's not going to be.
Okay.
All right. School calendar. We had two options for the 2 years, and let's see, make sure I'm 21-22 and also 22-23. Is there any motion to get started on that?
I have a question, Pat.
Okay.
Are we making two motions? Like, I think the motion last time was just for the 2021. Are we going to?
That's correct.
So we're going to make it.
It depends on what we decide. You can
I have
make
a
motion for
motion.
both.
Okay.
Either way.
My motion is that we accept for 21-22 and 22-23, option number 2.
Okay.
And I'm happy to second that.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Fogarty, motion by Ms. Robinson, second by Ms. Fogarty for option 2.
And that would leave the other one that we voted as a...
Correct. Any further discussion? If not, if you're for the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Hargrove, the 2021 budget, please.
Mr. Ray, we're still obviously crunching numbers, compiling requests, etc. No news yet on anticipated revenue from the state. Of course, also still too far out for city revenue numbers, but this item is on the agenda for the next multiple months, so we'll have plenty of time.
Multiple years.
They had a lot of discussion about this in the meeting. I was in Nashville at meetings yesterday and this morning, and there was a lot of discussion about that.
I'd be interested to hear some of that from you.
Yes, and how they're going to fund some of the governor's initiatives.
And I hope there's discussion there about how to fund the difference.
Yes.
The BEP, you can do all you want to the budget as far as increasing. If it affects other things that aren't funded, then it's tough on the locals.
Can I do a recommendation right quick?
Sure.
For Jason in particular, because you are working on the budget. I don't know in previous years if we've had a line item area or whatever that would address playgrounds and maintenance. I think a lot of times that falls to PTO. You know, I think PTOs are oftentimes I'm not gonna say tasked with, but I think that they kind of pick up that slack. But I was talking to one of our principals the other day and thinking about just the copious amounts of rain we've had, and that even when the rain stops, it's not knowing that we even have any outside space that's available for children to actually just go and be outside. So what I mean to say is, if your playground is submerged in water and that's going to take weeks for that to really dry off, I can't really sit there and beg and plead for kids to go outside if I don't even offer like a blacktop that they could go out there. And, would it be most ideal if everything was above, sea level and life, but that's not always going to happen. So would I love for there to be maybe a play area that's on some kind of surface? I'm thinking of like when you go to playgrounds in Florida and that stuff is that rubbery stuff. Even if you just have like a little one of those, and then for the bigger kids, if we've got a basketball court at every elementary, I can't think through all that stuff because I don't oftentimes find myself analyzing every school for what it has. But I do know that like some of our schools have outdoor classrooms, but like, is there an awning, or can we provide awnings over some of this stuff? Because what I'm saying is the weather's not always going to be ideal. And we are real fortunate that we aren't having to bundle up children in snowsuits, because that's painful and exhausting. But so knowing that, if we could look to try and see if there's some room in the budget and what the needs are at some of these schools and how we can maybe address that.
Let's talk about that Friday. Be sure you make me a reminder on that as a topic. I know East Lincoln just got a concrete slab. It's a full court. That's possibly could use that, but we'll take inventory.
I just didn't know if every school
That
had
day that we toured Bel Air, it had rained and rained and rained for days, and I don't know if you remember, but I mean, it was not going to be dry for a long time.
And I just feel like then kids are limited, like you never got, and I'm like, even if they got outside and could breathe the air, hear the birds, play in the puddles on the edge of the blacktop, anything, just to give them some options, I think.
We'll look at that Friday.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, board policy review and adoption consideration. Everybody has that in their packet. And Ms. Vaughn or Mr. Miller, please correct me if I'm wrong. All these were at study session. We took plenty of time over, and there was at least one or two that he was going to look at. Are those on here?
Mr. Miller saw all the policies that were presented at the one that he did not
study
see has
session.
been pulled.
Okay, that's what I'm.
Is that the one about the different Medicaid, that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so he had good advance on all these. In fact, it was before the study session.
Yes,
These
correct.
are the ones at the study session.
Yes.
All right, the recommended motion then is to adopt changes to policy 6.402, 6.4031, 6.405, 6.411, 6.412, 5.200, 5.201, 4.700, 3.201, 4.200, and TSBA model policy 6.4052, 4.201, 4.606, and 4.802.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Fogarty. This
Second.
will be the longest motion ever made.
I was afraid you'd go run out of breath quite quickly.
Yeah, the amazing thing is we did go over every one of them.
Sandy, is that other policy, is that okay that we're going to be okay to table that? Okay.
Well, it'll be on the next study
Okay,
session.
okay.
Any further discussion on that motion? If not, if the motion, if you please raise your hand. Any opposed?
Can I make a comment? I'd
Please.
like to thank Sandy, Vaughn, and also Kim and Amy, but especially Sandy and Amy. They've been very serious about us really looking at all
Ms. Vaughn,
these
don't make me correct those
policies.
minutes again, too.
I know, so
Okay,
please
put your name in the
Sprinkle.
minutes.
Sprinkle that in there. Gina Bungalow also was a big help to us with a lot of these that had to do with health. But they've worked very hard to make sure that we really have the right policies and that we are following our policies. And So today, when I was at these meetings, they have a new policy that they presented today that actually has something to do with Sandy and Amy finding something and bringing it to their attention, and now we have a new policy. So they're going to know who we are there.
Great, good for y'all. All right, new business textbook adoption. Mr. Hargrove.
Ms. Fanning?
Yes. This year, we are adopting ELA and criminal justice curriculum. We are required by the state to adopt curriculum, and we have had teams of people who have sifted through curriculum, who've listened to publishers, who use different curriculum in their classroom, and the district team recommends Cengage for criminal justice, Benchmark Education for K through 5, and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt for 6 through 12.
Any questions on the recommendation from Ms. Fanning? If not, I'll entertain a motion for a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
textbooks. Motion by Ms. Robinson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lawson. Any further questions or comments? If not, if you're for the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Mr. Ray, this is a culmination of a long period of time, mowing bids.
Last month, we took accepted bids for the 2020 mowing season for all the school properties. You have a memo and a bid tabulation sheet in your packet. Based on that information, staff recommends entering into agreement with MLS Landscapes and Irrigation for this mowing season for mowing and bush trimming.
And that's for 1 year, correct, Jason?
That's correct.
Okay.
I imagine the motion has to have an amount too, Mr. Ray. What is the total amount that should be in the motion? Take your time.
Taking some time, sir.
That'll be from February to February.
It's we specified in the specifications March to November, the growing season, basically.
Oh, okay.
Got a total?
No, it'll take me.
Go ahead, Dr.
Take me.
Is the other one the previous one? Is the previous company we used?
I think we
I
use
think they were another bid.
different,
Okay, so it's not the previous one.
No.
well, I mean, different ones, and I don't think it was.
No, it's a different, both bidders are different than the person,
Okay.
company that did have.
So this will be some other.
Yes.
Okay.
Will we be able to find out though, can you guys tell us, like, through your finance meeting, can you all let us know what this is compared to what the previous one was? You know,
I'm sorry.
I said, do you mind to just tell us what, not tonight, obviously, but just, can you tell me what this is compared to what the previous one was? Just out of curiosity.
I will have to probably look it up, but I can get back to you with it.
Yes.
Probably it's not going to be,
It's not
gonna be
apples
fair
to apples.
because- Yeah, because what was going on and what's going to happen now is different too.
Okay. Then don't even trouble yourself.
The mowing portion would be a not to exceed $92,520. That would be if each property was mowed every week, regardless of weather conditions,
I got you.
growth, etc.
So the maximum would be $92,520.
That's correct, sir.
All right, you've heard the amount and the recommendation. It's to award the bid to MLS for March to November, at the maximum being $92,520, and that is if you had no rain,
No hot weather.
but you still, grass is still growing, so that'd be
That's just
virtually
6 months?
impossible.
You're just doing 6 months,
To grow.
March to November?
From March to November.
That's 36 weeks.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Lawson. You got a second?
Second.
Ms. Fogarty? Any further discussion? I know you're going to monitor it, and I would anticipate probably in the following year, this is the first time we've had specs probably this clean, that you may have to come back with some other specification too. This is going to be, you've done well here. Thank you.
I know, and I think that all the schools are going to be really happy with this, because I know in the past the grass has gotten so high, and then when it has been mowed, they've just tracked the grass in like crazy, you know, so.
This is, Mr. Ray is going to improve this situation. All right, if you're for the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Thank you. Fall club sports, Mr. Hargrove.
Following club sports are presented to you all for your approval. Elementary basketball, these are for next fall. Middle school, we have the bass team, girls soccer, volleyball, cross country, 6th grade basketball, and at the high school, we have the swim team and the bass team.
Is 6th grade basketball new? I'm a little confused by that, only because we've got, middle school basketball, so I didn't know what that meant.
I don't think so. I believe it's been at least a year or two.
In playing, they usually play their own schedule.
I mean, I know at East we couldn't justify it, like we didn't have it,
Right.
but at West we must. And has there been any discussion from any of these sports? I thought that there was a time period where some were considering coming to ask about being affiliated and not being a club sport anymore. Is that still up for discussion or no?
Can.
Okay, at any point, just us ratifying this doesn't really.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just
You don't
okay.
find
so
it.
Motivated. Yeah.
Okay.
There are several reasons to keep them the same, but
Correct.
that would be, we could talk about that at a proper time.
Well, and I think that it really comes down to the organization has to reflect on the pros and cons for them, as to whether they then
Yeah.
turn it over and
Yeah.
into those.
Do we have a motion to approve the recommended fall club sports?
So moved.
Ms. Foley has the motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Robinson. Any further discussion? If not, for the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? I was hoping not to be involved in this next topic, but Mr. Miller has informed Mr. Hargrove that it will require 4 votes.
With the chairman's abstention, you will not have enough votes.
So you're going to have to vote.
You'll have to vote, bless your heart.
It's okay.
Do we have a
God, I can
motion?
hold your
Yes,
hand.
I have a motion.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion to name the Old West Gym the Welsh Wrestling Center.
Is there a second?
Second.
Which one of you wants it?
I will give it to you.
Ms. Robinson has a second. And I will make sure the minutes somehow reflect that this is a reluctant vote. If you're for the motion, please respond by raising your hand.
Yes, please.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hargrove.
Ms. Rupa is here tonight.
Oh.
I am.
I'm disappointed, though.
Why?
Your child's not with you.
It's blissful, let me tell you. Not too much to report. The only thing I will say is that I know we've talked about the park that was going to go in at East Lincoln, near East Lincoln Elementary School, and that we did not receive the grant money that we applied for, that giant $3.5 million grant that we applied for. But we are still able to move forward with some phase 1 of it, which will be basketball courts that will be hopefully going in there. So just giving you guys a heads up of that. That's pretty much all I've got. I've been in the school system this past week talking to the 7th graders at East Middle School, and I'm going to be there again in West Middle School next Friday, it looks like. So really thankful that you guys are allowing that to happen. So
Thank you.
We appreciate you being in our
Yes.
schools.
eye-opening. Your teachers, I don't know how they do it.
We've got plenty of good teachers.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. They must be saints because, whew, middle schoolers are tough.
Rupert, tell me the area that the park would be.
It is, I'm trying to describe, it's between Ada Farrell and Eastgate Apartments, is that correct? It's on Silver Street,
Okay.
and between
Silver and Freeman, that's what it's like something down.
I thought it was gonna be closer to the school, and the reason why I brought it up, I talked to Mr. Hargrove too.
Uh-huh.
After y'all cleaned up the area that we surplused, that y'all took over, and you made great strides in appearance, especially if you come behind the school on Warren Street.
Okay.
But if you look into the undergrowth, there's a small retaining wall. A wall that's probably not
On
but
Warren
2.5.
Street?
Yes, it's in the woods.
Okay.
And it's probably not but 2 to 3 feet tall to most, and if you walk up to it, it's obvious that it's really old construction. The concrete has not great consistent pebbles in it, it's brown.
Okay.
And I really think that that probably came from the foundation of old Fitzgerald Clark School
Okay.
that burned. And at some point, we hope to find somebody that can verify what that is, but I'd rather not have it disturbed unless it's meaningless, but I think
Okay.
it's going to have some historical significance to the town.
Let me see if you can figure that out. and I'll
Okay,
send it
that'd
to
be,
you.
yeah, if you can help me with that, it'd be great.
Okay, writing this down.
That fire should have been in like 1916 or 1917.
Oh, wow, okay. Let me see what I can find out, I'll email.
Okay.
It's in a tree line, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's got a lot of growth up.
You could not see the wall previously, but y'all have made nice strides in
And
the
now
appearance
that's
of that
done, you
property.
can actually see it.
Yes.
I'll go out there and check it out. and
Please.
take pictures of it.
You can walk around back there, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
The
a
walking trail goes
Very
close
nice.
to it.
right beside it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Give me a holler and I'll ride with you.
Don't go search for the wall.
I know that.
It, the town built a really nice school. I mean, it had torrents on the side, 2 or 3 stories high, brick. And they would lease it to 2 or 3 normally gentlemen that would run it. One of them be the headmaster, one of them be the principal, and they ran a private school there. And the last one was by Mr. Fitzgerald and Mr. Clark. One of those would have come from Trenton, Tennessee, is the reason why Wallace Wade was hired, because that's where he was from. And that school didn't last, the history of that didn't last very long because the building burned.
When did it burn? Did you say 19?
It's 19...
22.
Okay.
The fire was 6 years there, but.
It wasn't there long. There was another one before that was, I think, was a precursor to MTSU. But they used that building for a little while. And then after the last fire that he's talking about, then the town made provisions to build the old high school, which was on that property also. Yeah. I would hate to, if
Take
that
it
wall is part of that, we don't need, and we probably need to recognize it in some way.
And so we know what it is,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Okay, Mr. Hargrove, personnel, anything that,
We have 2 additions. Ms. Caitlin Vaughn is an educational assistant at Robert E. Lee. Ms. Monica Davis is also an educational assistant, but she's at the high school. Mr. Matthew Travis resigned his educational assistant's position at THS, and we have 2 retirements. And we will sorely miss both of these. Ms. Loretta Cooper has been part of our Cool Kids for as long as I can remember.
Will they be recognized and when we do retirees at the end of the year? Okay.
We'll have to tranquilize,
Yes,
and we'll use kind of blowgun on Mr. Hale to get him.
yes. I know where he is.
I understand.
make sure he's here.
But Coach Hale has been a part of our system since the early 80s. And
Scotty, do
Good
they
for
have
them,
someone
but sad.
that's going to be able to help out with the archery now that he is no longer? Do we have
um,
New PE.
long before Mr. Hale announced his retirement, we kind of worked on it. So we have Mr. Brock Taylor, who has replaced him
Okay.
at East Lincoln, and we have one of our kindergarten teachers is helping him.
Awesome. Okay.
So she, Mo Torres' daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're working on it.
Okay. I just knew that was huge for the school, and I knew he obviously had a big impact on that. So.
Folks' daughter that's on the faculty at East.
Yes.
Correct.
Maybe we
Chris?
could, I'm sorry, maybe we could talk him into coming back and
He helps.
Helps
He
out.
does occasionally. Anna Kristen and little Robert or Robert Taylor's son, Brock, they'll learn, they'll get better. They're not afraid to work.
All right. Anything else needs to be brought before the board?
We have a basketball game tonight in Lincoln County. Our girls are playing,
Shovel.
so Chevy won.
And this will get them.
We win this one, we'll go to the region.
Yeah.
The boys have already qualified for the region, but obviously you're playing for seeds.
Right.
So
They play Thursday.
they
at
play
7:30.
Thursday at Lincoln County. All the games will be played at Lincoln County.
Wrestling information, 3 girls and 4 boys.
3 girls, we have
Qualified for
7
state tournament.
represented at the state tournament in Franklin.
That starts Thursday and goes through Saturday if you wrestle well enough. Anything else?
If you've never been to that state wrestling tournament, like, it's really exciting to go to.
Yeah.
And we've been, when it was at UTC, we went several times, and, I mean, they turn the lights out. I mean, it's very exciting to go watch.
Our theater arts students got to shadow a company from, and you correct me if I'm wrong, get this wrong, Dr. Ennis, but from a Shakespearean. And Mr. Landon was very excited, and the amount of kids are starting to get some trailers, and friends are coming and getting involved in our theater arts, so our numbers are kind of quietly growing there, even though our class numbers are set. But it was a really neat experience for our students to trail that group and shadow them for a weekend.
If you haven't had a chance to meet Mr. Lennon, take the time, because he is high energy.
Prepare yourself. Take a deep breath.
Well, that's okay.
He brings it every day.
Every day, to everything.
Every minute.
Also, Dr. Gary Wilson, our course teacher, they've announced they're going to take a trip every 4 school years. So if you're in our choral program at our high school, you'll be able to perform at Carnegie once in your. So they've started that venture for year after next, I think, or next year.
So, great. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Ms. Fogarty, is there a second? Second. Ms. Lawson, for the motion, please respond by raising your hand. We are adjourned.